StarRupture tasks you with exploiting the planet Arcadia 7 in the name of corporate overlords, of course. What if you refused? After my first playthrough with these big beautiful factories, I decided to go full rebel. Refused to send any items to the corporations. Can you complete early access content without ever building an orbital cargo launcher? We will consider the challenge complete by activating the world engine itself, which means we have two main tasks to complete our goal. We need to produce 400 chemicals and 400 electronics for the battery cell research. Along the way, we will have to collect blueprints and data points for research as well as corporate unlocks. With a plan that would probably be rivaled by shower thoughts at this point, I'll launch the game. Lots of disturbing voice lines in this game, so scientists, come to mommy. After collecting a few base cores and building our first habitat, we set out to gather some early data points. Normally, I would be able to get through this first few levels of each corporation by providing them with the items that they request through a orbital cargo launcher. We have no such luxury today. Talking about not having a map. We have no map. So finding drones like this is going to be a bit more complicated. We also can't interact with geoscanners. During our first combat encounter, we get some vermin butts to trade in for some data points at least.
They made very sure no one ever
We also find another drone. The loot from drones and these dead bodies will be instrumental for our early game progression. Even without a map, we can find the first abandoned outpost fairly easily. Besides a lot of vermin, we find these data blueprints here, the first part of our journey. I'm even ready for the vermin as they spawn this time. It's amazing how second playthroughs always makes you feel like a super-powered time traveler. Always knowing what's going to happen before it even happens itself. One drone to loot on our way back to the hab, and 5,565 data points. Not too bad. Enough for the map upgrade, the pistol, and grenades. With the map unlocked, we can hit our first two geoscanners. Having played through the game at this point, these early game scanners are so much more manageable. Even the mining laser alone is okay. During our second geoscanner, Gal warns us about our first Ruptura event. Time to go home. Things are going to be heating up in a moment. While that's all happening, we can set up our hub. Recipe station, assembly machine, and some storage. Inventory size will remain low without the option to progress the corporations with items, so personal storage here is going to be great. No time to waste, let's hit up our second outpost. Trying to focus on smaller outposts in the early game, running into a Goliath at this point would result in a lot more running. We're here quite early, so no vermin in sight. Am I the only one who is mistakenly calling vermin biters all the time? The blueprint here is for rotors. Nothing we need, but data points and war bonds are nice. I would say that getting some free pistol ammo feels good as well, but pistol is trash. This thing can't hit the broadside of a barn while also dealing no damage at all. What's the point? Can we start a petition for a hand cannon upgrade for the pistol? Please, Creepy Jar? Getting back from our second exploration shows some progression. 7,775 data points this time. Don't mind if I do. 3 corporations that will be relevant for this challenge. Red for logistics, blue for weapons, and orange for actual production facilities that we need. We start by unlocking the equipment workbench, storage depot, fabricator, and a inventory upgrade. Not bad. Progress. First, assault rifle. For ammunition we need wolfram powder, which is made in the furnace, which we don't have. Oh well. Let's take the bullets from storage for any oh shit moments. Let's go out and look at the sun. Okay, nope. Gal says no. Kids, don't stare at the sun. More time locked inside. This planet is like a repeating COVID-19 experience on a 40-minute timer. Some time to plan, I guess. We need a power cell, which needs electronics and chemicals. The only thing we can really progress right now is the calcium block research. 1000 ore will take a moment. Let's go set that up right after... There. That's calcium ore and 3 storages. Enough to research block production once we're back from our first infested outpost. You want to go to these early and probably leave before the vermin appears. The tumors doesn't generate the infection clouds directly after the rupture. Even then, killing the tumors is wise. They will generate the infectious cloud prior to the vermin spawning anyway. Try getting to the blue box first as well. There is only the stabilizer blueprint here. We will need those in the world engine and we'll probably loot plenty while there. No crafting really needed. Without a single vermin spawned, we make our way out of the outpost, leaving it for others to enjoy. The pistol might be trash, but the shotgun? Oh, the shotgun. Best gun. Using less bullets, dealing more damage, even without the option to make ammunition. This can almost sustain itself on looted ammunition out of outposts during the early game. One shot per vermin surely helps. Occasionally taking out more than one vermin per blast is game-changing. Enough glazing the shotgun for now. Let's see what our exploration has brought us. 1,000 ore is available as expected, but our inventory is full. 7,795 data points for us to enjoy this time. Lots of inventory bugs in the early access build. The 200 ore we were unable to pick up is just gone. It's not in the machine and it's not on the floor. Luckily we planned for 1,200 ore in storage. We're unable to see the furnace recipe unlocks just yet. Selenian Corporation gladly takes some of our data points in exchange for the furnace, making the final production building we'll need. Planning our next move? I hear vermin. Shotgun fodder, I call it. Chemicals need synthetic silicon, wolfram powder, and helium-3. Helium gas extractor, level 6. I didn't account for that. We'll also need inductors, which need ceramics. For now, we can only produce calcium blocks, so we can just patch that onto our current calcium line. If you come here for build tips, you are watching the wrong video. This is likely the most orderly production line you'll see throughout the rest of this playthrough. Ceramics research needs calcite sheets as well. These do not require any research, so simply building an extractor, connecting to a smelter and into a fabricator that will input into a storage. We're out of basic production materials. Delete all that and build 2 ore excavators for titanium and wolfram. With that, we can make our own building materials and unlock the fabricator recipe to automate our first production chain. 2 hours in and we're just automating something. This is not a speedrun. With the furnace unlocked, we can build up wolfram production for ammunition to the assault rifle. Also setting up calcium ore and production facilities for calcium powder when we finally unlock it. For them sweet shotgun shells. You would think that I planned out production lines before starting this whole thing, but no. 2 hours in and we're finally looking at production schematics for the battery cells. Again, not a speedrun. With renewed confidence, we start our actual production line. I'm thinking I can have an arrow-shaped building where items flow in from the sides. Something like this. But then someone mentioned sushi. Sushi and spaghetti doesn't match, so logically sushi should be perfect for me. StarRupture's first complete sushi rail factory, anyone? Having everything on one rail is really efficient and simple, expanding the rail as needed. StarRupture's pull-only rail system lends itself remarkably well for this exact purpose. On top of this, we need a very small amount of actual items, limiting impact of any rail throughput issues. This should be really good. The only thing I'm missing is the build drone. That thing is amazing. A long line of production buildings. The order here doesn't really matter. And then finally, one long rail going around the whole production line connecting to all of the machines. With the sushi build complete, we will need a place to review recipes themselves. Building this habitat is a temporary base, but I'll confess already. It quickly becomes the main hab. You know how it is. Most YouTubers would show the final product being output on the rail at this point. I'm convinced it takes minutes. for an item to travel one lap around the rails, so we won't do that. Tier 1 rails are slow. Really slow. Next up, we need titanium sheets and rods. Rods are easily added with another fabricator at the very end of the production line. For sheets, we will need to unlock the recipe first. To help with that and future research, we'll build up some storages right next to the hub that we can easily use. With 2 items on the production line, it becomes clear that something isn't running right. The rail is clogged with mostly raw ores and basic bars. All our ore is joining the rail offset by 1 from the actual input of the smelters, meaning they'll join the sushi belt just behind the intended input and have to travel all the way around. Not to worry, an easy fix. That didn't fix anything. Let's move the input rail from the ore excavators to input directly into the smelters instead. This should avoid any issues with the ore clogging up the sushi rail as it crosses the intersection to the smelter's input. This is with only 2 items in production. I think you can see where this is going. With the smelter's input no longer connected to the sushi belt, we have a bunch of ore that can't really reach the destination. While it takes forever to clear the rails, there's a few very easy ways to find out that something is missing a destination. They will display a red blinking light and give off a repetitive beep constantly. Believe it or not, but once this is done, the rails actually works as intended. One fiery inferno later and we can add wire to the sushi belt as well, right before another exploration session. This time we are better armed. Assault rifle at the go, we take aim for the world engine. With our first good look at the end goal of this challenge, we start by activating the geoscanner right here. I don't want to go through the nearby outpost just yet. A Goliath will spawn there and I have a desperate craving for some Goliath butt. By the time we're done with the geoscanner, the world has regenerated. Indicated by this welcome party we get at the outpost I just mentioned. Generally, I don't find the slashers very scary. Anything beyond the mining laser and the pistol makes them pretty trivial. With that said, this one scared the living shit out of me.
Wonderful. How are we supposed to activate it?
Second round, first Goliath time. I guess it's warming up, or he's tired and doesn't want to move. We all have those days, I guess. I'll take my Goliath butt nonetheless. We find the valve blueprint here. Not needed, but great chance to use some sound effects. Next up, we're clearing the way to the world engine, meaning the large outpost just outside of the engine needs to go. There is a staggering amount of vermin here, but no Goliath. Always found that weird. 100% expected multiple Goliaths here when I stumbled upon this outpost my first time. I did unlock the grenade earlier, but completely forgot about it. Could have come into use here. Instead we clear this whole thing using the assault rifle and the shotgun. For blueprints, I'm hoping for chemicals or electronics. I know they're found further out from the spawn, but I can't really remember where exactly. I get hardening agent. I don't need hardening agent. With all that ammunition used, I'm scared I'll run out. I was intending to hit a large Wolfram excavation outpost as well, but rather head back home now. I'm sure we got research and production to tend to anyway, so no harm done. Today is a sweet day. 17,550 data points for one excursion. That's beyond my expectations. Finally time to unlock the build drone. While 11,150 data points into the Selenium Corporation doesn't even reward us with 1 level. Getting the helium-3 extractor will take more than I expected. The good thing is that the rails are not clogged. Our sushi belt is actually working. Time to do some research. We can progress inductor research with wires, ceramics with calcite sheets, titanium beams with titanium bars, and 100 wire left over for the stator research. We also need titanium rods for the tube research. And here's another fun inventory bug for you. I let myself in the past explain it. If you have an incomplete stack, say I have 10 here, 290 there. If I take this 300, put it on the 10, I should have 10 left, right? No, it just replaces the 10 with the 300 and then I lose my extra bullets. Same thing here, 140 will be lost. And it's not on the ground. They just disappear. Magic. Magic. The game lacks quite a bit of polish and quality of life at this point. Early access goodness, am I right? With my ammunition refilled, I have an intense need for Goliath action. We're going to the abandoned Wolfram mining outpost. We get there only for Gal to warn us about an upcoming sudden increase in atmospheric temperature. I retreat to build my temporary habitat. This one actually remains temporary, but I've already angered the locals. Not sure what would happen if they manage to infect my buildings before the heatwave appears, so we'll deal with them first.
Rupture's eruption has started. Prepare for impact.
No vermin after the heatwave means we can speedrun the largest base in the game, Found Electronics. This is actually pretty big. This means we are only missing 2 blueprints for this challenge. The downside of there being no vermin means there is no Goliaths. Don't worry, we'll be back for them. My needs are not yet met. From here, I'm not sure where to go. We decided to wander northeast, eventually finding a familiar outline in the distance. A quick stop to pick up some data points sounds pretty good. At this point, I've decided to head for the final spot outpost, thinking that the outposts thematically match with having chemicals. There is no vermin yet, but the infection is already present. This place is weird. Just like in my first playthrough, there is some tumor I just can't find, and the base remains constantly covered in infection clouds as a result. On the other hand, I found the chemicals we're looking for. So much for my thematic accuracy. With that said, we're already on our way, so let's go. On the way to the next outpost, we run into this little outpost. Grenades should be good here, but I think my grenades deal no damage. So many vermins left standing. Vermin that acts really weird as well. Maybe it's the Goliath's fault? Let's make sure our shotgun has a stern talking with him before we leave. Really, there's endless amounts of these small guys here. All these protecting a rotor blueprint for some reason. I don't mind, I'm just a passerby. Here we are. Final spot. My favorite outpost in StarRupture? At least my most memorable outpost. Did you know that they studied microbiology that makes the water in hydrobulbs drinkable here? Explaining both why we can't drink the water directly from ponds, and also why we can actually drink the water in hydrobulbs. I love gameplay mechanics being explained in lore itself. Anyway, we have another Goliath to dance with. Goliaths are super cool. As the only creature that have a clear strategy to fight, I really hope they get more similar creatures in the future. They might need a network fix, however. They're rubber banding worse than me playing Counter-Strike 1.6 on dial-up back in like the 2000s. The Goliath is protecting the synthetic silicon blueprint.
Nice.
Score! You may think I have to know where to find these blueprints, but no. There just is very few outposts in the early access, and I knew that I didn't need to go north of the engine. During my first playthrough, I never actually went north of the engine before starting the world engine itself. With that in mind, there is also very few outposts left, so we just hit them one after another. The fact our final outpost is the one furthest away is no real coincidence. Or is it? After a long walk home, time to count our rewards. 55,580 points. I'd say that's good enough for now. Hitting big outposts and gathering Goliath bats does pay really well. Level 5 and 6 of the Selenium Corporation unlocks helium-3 gas extractors finally. We make a small dent in the requirement for V2 rails as well. Adding helium gas, starting with the 3 storages to buffer the input itself. We're going to have to bring rails Quite a distance to reach the helium. I am not moving my base. After dealing with some uninvited guests next to the helium gas, we can continue with building the actual extractors. Made much easier by the use of the build drone. The rail back is long, very long. This is why we built a buffer, to even out the consumption curve just a little bit. With the helium connected, we can proceed with more research. Titanium beams and sheets both need titanium bars to unlock. We can also deliver the blueprints needed for the synthetic silicon, chemicals, as well as the electronics. Next, we need to take some time to add on our newly unlocked recipes. Sushi might be my new favorite. Ceramic research still needs wolfram powder and ceramic sheets, both actually available in various storages outside. We still have some furnaces unused, so ceramics just slots right in. And storage is available as well. It's time for another wave. For alignment, we're about 4 hours invested at this point. Click like for all of those hours of footage lost in editing. I took a break and got back into it the day after at this point. With a refreshed mind, I'm convinced we will never finish with the V1 rails alone. Sushi surely is the best, but this is undercooked. We're on cleanup duty until we can upgrade to the V2 rails. During our adventures, we run into this. Titanium, you say? Vermin stronghold and a hidden outpost, I say. Let's investigate. Left side of the big square rock and then right at the leaning rocks, we find a small hole along the rock face in the back. This outpost does need more investigation. Why is it hidden? This isn't a lore video, however, and this is a really small base, so we just go in, get what we want, and leave. Small bases aside, if you played StarRupture, you know what's next from this one frame. The Wolfram Mining Outpost. I got plenty of inventory space left, so let's go. I find myself using the assault rifle with the scope constantly here. I may sound confident, but I did get jump scared by a slasher, remember? A Goliath creeping up on me will cause a heart attack. Found the first Goliath at a very long distance. Tickling him with a bullet doesn't give me his attention at all. That should do it. The strategy when fighting Goliaths is to have plenty of space and just circle around them. Unloading with the shotgun when able to, or as they charge. First Goliath down. Almost end up taking down every vermin in sight before the next Goliath decides to grace us with his presence. Just as I throw this grenade, confirming my grenades actually deal damage again, the Goliath joins the fight. Space and mobility is their weakness, and shotgun up the ass works pretty well as well. During cleanup, I found a friend. Look how cute he is. Actually, scratch that. What's with your mouth bits, my friend? Continuing exploring, we get interrupted by another heatwave while activating yet another geoscanner. Can we collect all the butts before the rapture ends and wipes it all out? I worked really hard for these butts. But we do get it in time. Random hint here. Corrosive areas doesn't actually corrode after a rupture. I didn't know this. Nice. I think we have enough data points. Let's build a hab to confirm. 54,445 data points. Enough for level 5 and level 6 of the Clever Robotics. Target reached. Let's get healing as well for good measure. Going back home. At the base we can pick up titanium sheets, beams, as well as ceramics. Sheets for the tube research, beams and the remaining sheets for the titanium housing, ceramics for the inductors. After another round of ceramics, inductor research only needs tubes. The remaining ceramics can be contributing to the synthetic silicon research. Another fabricator for the tube production. Upgrading the belts from version 1 to version 2 does make a huge difference. So much speed. Double speed. Additional ceramics obtained. Synthetic silicon research done. Free furnace means free production. Hell yeah. We have what we need now, so let's improve this production setup a bit. We'll start by adding storage at the output for each item we'll be using in research. Filling up the storage next to my hab takes too much space on the sushi rail as it is. I also tried to build bypasses, but it doesn't work. When the game says no, I threaten with spaghetti. When the game doesn't bend to my will, I apply more spaghetti. How is it going to be, game, the hard or the easy way? Inductors are ready. More stuff to add to the production. The game looked at me weirdly. More spaghetti. Fine, you win. I like my spaghetti boiled, not burnt. More research. Stators done. Adding another fabricator for the stator production. Jokes aside, I really think sushi belts can be done tastefully with some planning. Mentioning planning reminds me. Let's build the final 2 furnaces for chemicals and electronics when it finally unlocks. Electronics needs 212 synthetic silicon, 200 indicators and 200 stators. Chemicals should be done in time now, only needing 130 silicon. Let's go get it. Chemicals require calcium sheets. I require spaghetti. Not saying we're getting closer to finishing this challenge or anything, but that's a lot of ammunition. Electronics isn't even done yet. Sit back down, Bobby. Here, look, progress. Now we only need the battery cell research. 400 chemicals, 400 electronics for the research, plus 10 for each of the item itself. I'll go make sure this factory remains OSHA compliant in the meantime. I think we're missing a few platforms. Not saying we're missing spaghetti, but... I know we said the final 2 furnaces before, but electronics production is super slow. 1 item every 5 seconds is ridiculous and unacceptable for this incredibly well-built base. Let's add some titanium sheets while we're at it. I know, we're not even really trying anymore. Sushi is finally cooked, dead, and out of fashion. Embrace spaghetti. Bring your inner Italian. Funny how the game tries to kill me every time I mention Italian pasta, but it's beautiful. Look at our creation. And it actually delivers. Time to research battery cells and get it built. We have a world engine to invade, and we can leave directly. You thought my ammunition preparation was unnecessary? What about now, Bobby? As we come up from the ravine and spot the world engine, shotgun in hand, I can't help feel a little bit proud. We did it. We are doing it. We're on our way. Success is sweet when you finally get to savor it. I'll give you a quick summary of the engine itself, but won't linger on it with lore and stuff like that. Insert the battery cell we crafted to power the entrance door. The world engine is clearly not in good shape, shut down and disabled. We make our way through the main engine floor until we stumble upon the northern staircase. Going down, we encounter our first enemies on the logistics floor. We're here to start a generator to power the facility. The generator is covered in target practice for my shotgun.
Good work. Now find a way to turn it on.
With the generator started, Gal informs us that the engine is ready to go with the emergency power turned on. We leave through the south staircase and go back to the main engine floor, where the control room door now opens. The tech floor key is left on the floor here by this guy, who wasn't able to decide what side of the door he wanted to be on. We fight off some followers while Gal informs us that we're missing an engine core.
If we look hard enough, we're bound to find a spare core.
Tech floor next. Unsealing the door to the tech floor, we're instantly greeted by enemies.
The core must be in some technical room.
Thank you, video game. How did you know? Making our way through the tech floor, we'll eventually end up here. You'll be able to find most of the items for the engine core's crafting recipe here if you're missing something. I get lost, like really lost. Staring at a sign in a staircase kinda lost. Going all the way to the bottom floor, I remind myself the crafting room is not here. It's on the tech floor. We were already there. Here. The map labels it as A1 Tech Lab. It's here, behind this tumor. Not sure how I missed it in the first place. To craft the core we need 3 stabilizers, 3 generators, 4 accumulators, and 8 electromagnetic coils. That's hard to say. All of this is available in the engine if you're looting on the way. If you missed something, do another pass if you need to. After a quick sprint, we make it back to the control room. Inserting the missing part, we clear out some stragglers that followed us into the control room again. From here the initialization begins. 0 to 100%. 3 waves of enemies.
Finally.
First 2 waves include some slashers, some biters and some exploders. The third wave includes a few flingers as well. Almost wish they included a Goliath in this fight. Imagine having a Goliath like blast through the main door for the final wave, finalizing the mission with an epic boss fight. But no Goliath found here unfortunately, and that's the end of the early access content. There is of course a lot more to build and unlock, so go play the game yourself, link in the description. Comment why sushi is better than spaghetti down below, and click subscribe unless you'd like me to apply my spaghetti to you. Thank you for watching, bye bye.